I've been thinking a lot over the last day about one of my favorite quotes from Wayne Thiebaud. He said that, as far as I'm concerned, there is only one study, and that is the way in which things relate to one another. I think that that really encapsulates everything about painting, looking at paintings, and learning how to see the world, especially how to see color. You know, Tebow, and he passed away just the day before yesterday on Christmas Day. So I think he's on the top of mind for a lot of us artists. Um, but Tebow was a colorist. He was a master colorist. And if you look at just the edge of a shadow of an object, one object within his painting, you're going to see an entire range of colors, from warm to cool, light to dark, bright to dull, and everything in between. Because he knew how to look closely at the subjects that he was painting and how to remember that and how to translate that experience into paint. So I want to think about and talk to you today a little bit about how to process what he meant by that, how to take that idea of the interconnectedness of everything, the interconnectedness in particular of colors, and apply that to painting. We have a tendency, a really strong tendency, to see objects and colors as individual elements and not look at how they're related to each other. We're kind of hardwired that way as predators, but it means that we sometimes skim over the relationships, and we need to kind of zoom back out and take into account how they're connected. We need to look not just at the thing, but the thing that's next to the thing. The key to understanding color is to understand that we perceive a color in relationship to the color next to it. So how we interpret that color as being light or dark, bright or dull, closer to red or closer to green, or warmer or cooler, we see all of that in relationship to the color it's next to, not in isolation. That's the key to learning to see. And then to go from seeing to being able to create that experience in your own paintings. Whether you're an observational representational painter or not, it's a real key to understanding how colors interact with each other and how your viewer is going to look at them. So let me show you some examples of what I'm talking about on a really simple level. Let's take a look at how our perception of color shifts depending on the color next to it. We're going to be working with this fairly neutral blue-gray and then comparing it to other colors based on their value, intensity, and their temperature. Let's dive in. I'm going to create over here a nice square of our blue-gray. I'm going to give us 2 of them, and we're going to compare value. I'm getting a lot of texture in there as well, unintentionally. So I'm going to compare one with a really dark color. This is a dark purple. I kind of like that that little strip of blue-gray ended up there in the middle of it. And then we're going to go with a light slightly more intense blue. And what we can see there is that exact same blue-gray appears lighter when it's next to a dark color because of contrast, and it appears darker next to a light color. So these two do not appear to be the exact same value. Colors influence each other. In our next one, we're going to take, see if I can scrape this a little thinner so that it's going to read a little flatter. And we're not going to get so much cast shadow. And in our next one, we're going to look at, that was value, we're going to go to intensity. So I have a slightly duller terracotta color. It's a slightly dull orange. And we're going to put that here in the top comparison. And then we're going to go with a more intense version of the same color underneath. So this color is more pure, more intense. Top one is duller. And what will happen when we are comparing dull to dull and bright to dull is that the blue-gray here will appear a little bit more blue because it's next to its close complement. Up here, the blue-gray appears not as intense. It's a little bit duller because this orange is not as intense as this one. So the intensity of the color it's next to is going to affect our perception of the intensity of the original color. So scrape this one down too. And this time we're going to look at the temperature, the apparent warmth or coolness of the color. And we're going to compare what it looks like when it's up against a warmer color and when it's up against a cooler color, and how that shifts our perception. So for our warmer color, we have, rather for our cooler color, we have a fairly intense blue. It's ultramarine blue mixed with white. So there's our cooler color. And we're going to compare that with our warmer terracotta color. And what we'll see is how our perception of its temperature shifts. So here where we're comparing temperature, the blue-gray appears warmer when it's next to a cool color. It appears cooler when it's next to a warm color. It appears lighter when it's next to a dark color and darker when it's next to a light color. It appears more intense when it's next to an intense color and duller when it's next to a dull color. So, hope this gives you some ideas of ways that you can explore and understand more the interconnectedness, the relationships between colors. So I want to wrap up by going back to what Wayne Thiebaud said and applying it specifically to color. That he said that the way in which things relate to one another is the key. And that is the key to learning to see color and to be able to really implement it effectively in your paintings. So keep in mind that you're going to be able to translate that by understanding contrast, how a color is similar or different in hue, value, intensity, and temperature. So I hope that's been helpful and that y'all have been having a great holiday period here. We're in that in-between lull between Christmas and New Year's. So if you're looking for something to do that's not too heavy in the studio right now, I would suggest that maybe you explore a little bit and experiment with how colors shift and change when they're up against different colors and you shift those aspects. Do some observation of what you see and looking at those relationships. Are they lighter or darker? Are they brighter or duller? Are they warmer or cooler? Ask yourself those questions and let me know how it goes. Happy painting, everyone. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye for now.